This is Perspective as a Motherfucker. Sit back, strap in, and relax. Cue transition.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. Hope everyone's having a great week. It's been very interesting with gas prices and a lot of stuff going on in the world, but, that can't be helped. Just another day in paradise. We have a great show for you guys today. I have someone that's a lot more of a friend now than an acquaintance when we first met. It seems like where we were at is a night and day.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be on a podcast, and this is really cool. It's really cool.
Thanks.
I've watched a lot of them.
Same here. I didn't really know the logistics, especially the video part, but I have a very great guy behind the camera, helped me out. But this week's actually been pretty good. Yeah. Things are really progressing. I actually just got connected with a person that runs a podcast network. So
nice. My
goal from basically the next 5 to 10 weeks to the rest of the year is have at least a guest or guests every single time I go and meet up with my guy behind the camera.
Awesome.
If I gotta go and do ones with me, myself, and I, that's completely fine. But I always like having this conversation with someone you can bounce ideas off of, and as the podcast name, Perspective is a Motherfucker, everybody has a different perspective in life. So
yes, that is true. Life is mostly perspective.
Yeah, and there's always a reason why people think the way they think.
There is. What makes us different as people is our experiences that made us, brought us to becoming the people that we are. Where we are in life. That's what makes our perspective, and kind of what makes us all unique. Which is pretty cool.
So, other than of course, the whole getting gas and things like that, I'm actually looking for a permanent someone that I can actually bounce ideas off of.
Yeah, it's good to have a sounding board.
Yeah,
for sure.
I had one before I started doing the video portion.
Well, I think that's what people kind of get confused with when they talk of mentors. I think a lot of people have an idea of getting a mentor in their head of someone who's gonna one-on-one train you Mr. Miyagi style.
Yeah,
and
wax on, wax off.
Shape you into the person. They have a vision for who you want to be. And I don't know where I've come, because I thought about that a lot, especially when I was first getting started. Was man, I really want to find that mentor, that one who's just gonna see something special in me and teach me and take me under his wing. And it's that person is unlikely to exist, and it's unlikely that I would have. I don't have anything to offer that person unless I'm to work in their business.
Yeah.
And as an entrepreneur, I want to have my own business. I don't want to work for somebody else.
I'm not trying to build someone else's dream when I can build my own.
Exactly. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Nothing wrong.
You can learn a lot from helping somebody else, achieve their dream, especially if they're willing to teach you and train you.
Yeah.
But from when you're trying to carve out your own niche, your own business, it's you're not going to have that one person who takes you from where you are now to where you want to be. For me, it's been a series of different people for different things.
Yeah.
Some people who are they say a good mentor is 10x you. Mm-hmm. You don't want a mentor who's 100 times you. It's for you in the credit repair space, it's Grant Cardone. It sounds great to have him as a mentor, but he's 100 times ahead of you. Exactly. Where that's he's going to give you advice on things that
it's going to be higher level, which you may not be ready for.
You just won't be able to leverage it.
Yeah.
Because he's going to tell you how to leverage your million followers on YouTube and your core sales business, where it's that's great and probably good information, but can you how much of that is relevant, that's where for me, I was, to me, it's like the person I'm trying to have as a mentor, whether it's in my field of, IT, or in another field. There's a lot to be learned from people in other fields.
Yeah.
And I think I learned from a real estate. He was a real estate agent. Good friend of mine, really successful real estate agent in my area, which is a smaller town, but one of the top couple percent whatever realtors.
Nice.
And I didn't go to his office once, for an hour every day or anything like that. I had a couple lunches with him, and listening to him talk about how he manages relationships, and even the whole like, maybe there's not a house sale like here today right now, but I'm still going to help this person to get them information that they're asking for.
Exactly.
Because one day when they are ready to actually buy a house, or maybe they buy a house from somebody else. Yeah. After I did that work, maybe their brother moves to town. Yeah. Maybe their grandma has to move. Yeah. I'm still on their list, and just, that has, what does real estate have to do with, the real estate business have to do with the IT business? Not much, but, we both have customers. We both manage relationships.
Have applicable, even, I would say, I've realized in just, whether it's life insurance, credit repair, that timing is everything. And you have a lot of people that get into business and they want to, like, you don't do business with me right now, it's on to the next. Coming from New Jersey to here, I had a harder approach. Not necessarily was like I'd follow with you 2 or 3 times if you wasn't, okay, off my contacts list on to the next. And I'm like, okay, like, people were telling me, because, I was a bit rough around the edges in the beginning. It was just, you got to understand where you're at. You have to adjust your approach. And realizing, now being almost 5 years into credit repair, being pretty much 3 into life insurance, that people will buy when it's time. Sometimes your time isn't always the time.
Exactly.
I had it.
You're on their clock.
Exactly. I've had people that I've literally followed up with for a year, sometimes 2. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, Aaron, I'm ready. Yeah. I even had a client of mine I helped with, credit repair. He got into an accident. I talked to him about life insurance, but again, it wasn't things like that. I told him, like, hey, like, luckily he didn't have to get cut open, but he's in a little bit of pain. But it's like, yeah, we're talking about life insurance now. It's like, yeah, if that would have...
You're taking it more seriously now.
Exactly.
But you were the guy the whole time that talked to him and reached out to him. We're trying to give him information. Yeah. So when he thinks, am I going to go on Google and type in life insurance? He knows he's going to find 100 companies that do life insurance. Yeah. But there's one face that he remembers that has to do with life insurance, and you're that guy. Yeah. I had not a mentor, actually a customer of mine. They were a contractor. I work a lot for contractors, nice. Which are interesting people to work for because they're, they have that old school way of kind of doing business. Yeah. And what this contractor told me is, he said, people want to look at selling as hunting, and it's not. It's farming. Because you want to plant seeds. Yeah. And, it's for him, he's like, yeah, in the beginning when I was hungry, and he was literally hungry when he started his business, like power getting shut off. But when I was hungry, I was hunting. And anything I could kill and I could eat that day, I would kill and I would eat that day. Yeah, I've been there. He goes, but now that I've been doing what I'm doing for after years, and I think his business had been around for maybe 15 years when I was talking to him. Okay. He's like, you get called out to, he's from where I'm from, Palm Coast. Okay. And, he said you get called out to Holiday, Florida, and it's an hour and a half, 2-hour drive to get there. You pull in, you spend 2 hours with them, and they say, we'll call you. And then they don't. Because you can either look at that as a failure and a waste of time and a waste of money. Yeah. When you get there and realize that you walk in and they say, hey, we're not buying today. Yeah. And you might get the instinct, if you're not thinking long term, you get discouraged. Okay, well, don't waste too much time, get out of there.
Yeah.
That's an opportunity to plant a seed.
Yeah.
And you take that opportunity, you plant the seed, and all those appointments that, you feel like you wasted time with somebody, or, I just had a 2.5 hour lunch with that person and they're not going to use my services today.
Yeah.
Those are the seeds where when they come back, it's like, oh my goodness, like it feels easy. Like you forgot that you put that work in, and now it's just, they liked you. They liked that you gave them the time and the information when maybe somebody else wouldn't.
Yeah.
And, that's that farming mentality is, kind of a good way to look at it. At least for me, that's been beneficial.
Yeah, I actually had a situation that actually happened last week.
Mm-hmm.
I had a situation where I spoke to the lady early in the week. She told me she had a disabled son out in Fleming Island.
Mm-hmm.
90% of my business is online. I don't need to meet you in person to do what I need to do. But she had a disabled son, and when I met him, because I actually met her at her house, I haven't met somebody at their house in like 2 years.
Really?
Yeah, Yeah, most of it's online.
Okay,
people see my
fair.
reviews.
Oh, I guess COVID.
And
I'm forced to go into people's houses and businesses with what I do, so it's not optional for my line of work.
No, I understand. When I had an office, people would come to my office and things like that. But I got to the point where I'm like, I've been doing this for almost 4 or 5 years. I'm like, I am the office. I don't need legitimacy. I am legitimacy.
Mm-hmm.
And that took time to even get that out. So long story short, I drive an hour to her house. Something I knew for a fact, all I needed to see was the credit report, whatever the case may be. That would took me 5 minutes. She gave me all the information. She told me what she was trying to do. I'm like, yeah, you don't need credit repair. I tell people, I'm a pretty straight shooter on how I do business. If you don't need my services, I'm going to tell you don't need my services. They were trying to go and get a house in the next year. I'm like, yeah, you just need to go and get connected with a lender to go and get your credit ran, see exactly where you're at. You don't have anything financed. You just need to start building credit. Now, because I took the time out and did that, I actually made a video on TikTok. I created goodwill. And it's something to where there's a lot of credit repair companies that she reached out to and was like, yeah, they're either online, none of them wanted to meet. And I took the time out when, again, I got $20 for my trouble because of gas. Because one of the things she asked me was, hey, do we owe anything for a consultation? Like, nah, I just drove an hour out here. I just like some gas money. That's about it. And went on about
she was happy to pay it.
Yeah, she was happy to pay it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when she goes to buy a house, then I'll be able to, because I'm still licensed, a life insurance agent, I'll be able to sell mortgage protection.
Sure.
So, and any of our family or things like that, like those are things that I would say in the beginning of my business, like hunt, kill, like even when we first initially met, I'm going to be honest, because that's just my energy this year is I connected with so many people, whether it's LinkedIn, in person. I'm going to be honest, how can I not necessarily use them, but how they're going to benefit me?
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the things where this year I looked at it. 3 separate emails, 1,000 people on my phone. I'm like, I don't talk to any of these people. If I don't talk to you, like actually have a conversation with you or even know you, you don't need to be in my phone. So like I took the time where I went through all of my contacts and I was like, hey, I connected with you a little while back. The energy I'm on this year is I actually want to get to know people and see how I can help them. Because if I can help you, you're going to help me. It's just...
The words for what you're talking about are relational versus transactional.
Yeah. And I can be honest with myself, I was very, very transactional for a very long time. I was always in this survival mode.
I'll tell you, I kind of come at it from the opposite side of things where like I suck at sales. Like I hate feeling like I'm in a sale. I hate the idea of closing. I hate the idea of like, objections of like, creating false urgency.
Yeah.
Deals set, like it all just feels like I don't like it. I'm not the closer. But it's for me, so like that's never been an option to like sell, close, eat. It's
that's definitely been very, I wouldn't say difficult. Sometimes it's been really easy. Like I'll show you when we get off of this, but I used to have automated messages. Like I would create it to be like, hey, good afternoon. This is Aaron with AM Credit Repair. This is an automated message. We have 5 spots left for our spring enrollment until it's ending. I'm talking about, it looks like an automated message because I just came up with it one day that has gotten people to like move their ass. Like, because I was like, plus like text reply or text stop or something like that to where it looks like a automated message. When no, I literally sat down there just because I've had people say, hey, is a spot available? I was like, yeah, it's a spot available all the time. But
if 10 fill up, I'm gonna find an 11th chair for you.
Exactly. So it's one of the things I wouldn't necessarily say I'm proud of that, but it's just like bills need to be paid. You gotta do what you gotta do. And it's something to where a lot of people, some people they don't want to move unless they absolutely have to move.
My problem is I'm just too, when it comes to sales like that, I'm just too agreeable. Like if you tell me you don't need this, and I think you might be right, I don't really push. So for me, because I'm in what I do, IT and technology. Okay. There are certain things where I am doing my customer a major disservice if I don't push. Yeah. If they tell me, I don't need to back up my QuickBooks file.
That you do.
It's like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm not disagreeing with you because I want to, I'm trying to get money right now. But you, with me or without me, back up that QuickBooks file because that computer goes, you're in a world of trouble. Yeah. So it's like that's where like I can be a little bit disagreeable when it comes to like the whole like closing right now. Yeah. It's just not my specialty.
Thing is, because I've been just doing it for a long time. Like I'm talking about all types of different sales. Like I've done Cutco, I've done mobile windshield repair, I've done door to door.
Oh, you got a lot of practice then.
Yeah, a lot of practice, different products, services. Like I used to use indifference a lot because it's like, you can either get this done or you don't. Especially with what I do now, I'm very just straight and to the point where it's like, hey, this is what you need to do. Like, you're trying to get a house. The more you delay, the longer you're going to take this process. Mm-hmm. Like most of my clients are the program within 60 to 90 days. You need to score at a certain time. The home buying process is going to take 60 to 90 days anyway, from start to sometimes finish. Mm-hmm. So it's good to start now instead of waiting. And my thing about it is I'm at the point where I've been doing this for so long, my prices don't go up, my prices don't go down. If you're going to not if you're not going to use my services because you found somebody for $20, $30 cheaper, that's fine.
That's not business. That's not long-term business. You really want.
I don't want that type of business where.
Here's the thing: if they're gonna say no to you and they're gonna skip out on you over $20 or $30,
I don't want you.
What do you think's gonna happen once they're with you and then somebody else offers them $20 or $30 less?
Yeah, exactly.
I've made a point that I don't compete on price.
No, of course, like when you're young in business. Because, I remember when I was starting out, I didn't even know what I should even charge. You see all the prices around you. You get to a point where, when I was really big into Gary Vee, I don't really watch a lot of his content anymore.
I like Gary Vee.
Keep going up.
I didn't like him at first, and I like him now.
Well, I'm from the north, so that's why
I am too.
You are?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
I know I look like I've been here my whole life with the hair.
Bro, when I met you, like, definitely looked like Sunshine.
It's the hair.
Yeah, definitely looked like Sunshine from Remember the Titans. I was like,
You know, I'm not from like I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, you're a Yinzer. I'm
a Yinzer.
I used to live.
I'm now a y'all. I'm a y'aller.
Okay. Yeah.
I've been indoctrinated.
Yeah. I used to live in Pittsburgh for a couple of years back
really?
in my early 20s.
Whereabouts?
I lived in Carnegie.
Okay.
I
know Carnegie.
Yeah, I lived in Carnegie.
Nice area.
Yeah. I lived in Dormont.
Dormont. Dormont.
It's
I know Dormont.
It's the Park and Go. It has that place that was on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, banging ass breakfast place.
Yeah, it's like the little corner place. Yeah. I know Dormont. I've been there. You're naming places that I've actually been.
I miss Permanis. Permanis is really good. Yeah.
I think there is a Permanis in Florida.
Probably.
They're so good. If for anybody watching who doesn't know what Permanis is, it's they do take it's from I believe it's Pittsburgh because there's a lot of them there.
Yeah.
If it's not Pittsburgh, I'm pretty disgusted.
I can throw a rock and hit Permanis anywhere in the city.
They started making the sandwich for truckers, and it's 2 pieces of I used to know the name of the bread company, but 2 big pieces of Italian bread. And then in between, they would take either like capricola, or I always get mine with hot sausage or some kind. It's a hot sausage.
Yeah.
Some kind of cooked meat, and they got different options: some burger, corned beef, all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
And then they put coleslaw and French fries and tomato on the sandwich and cheese, of course. And so they gave it to the truck drivers because truck driver, you get your whole meal,
on the
side, the French fries, the coleslaw, all in one sandwich. And oh my God, are they good?
Yeah, I haven't been to Pittsburgh since like 2014, 2015.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's changed.
That's when I moved. I moved in 2016.
I know when I left. You remember Wim? Wim, that club right across the street from the T station. You remember Levels?
I remember hearing of
Carson.
East Carson Street for sure.
Oh my God.
For sure.
Nothing but restaurants, tattoo parlors, and clubs. I think the funniest thing was when I used to go out. I was there when like Rack City came out. The Motto. Like when like Drake was like when he first came out.
The classics. The classics.
Golly, I mean, I was rolling with like people that were like 8, 9 years old.
How old were you when you were in Pittsburgh?
20.
20. Okay.
I turned 20 in Pittsburgh. Well,
you turned 20.
I turned 20
in 2014. So
no. This was 2010.
This is 2010. You were born in 90.
91.
91.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I turned 20 September, and then I couldn't really do. I ended up getting a fake ID, and then I ended up was like running around until that got taken, and then
I'm 25. Okay. So imagine this minus 7 years.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter how fake my ID was. I wasn't getting served nowhere for nothing. What brought you to Pittsburgh of all places?
I used to work for a windshield repair company.
Yeah.
So I used to do a lot of, I guess, early network marketing, sales stuff. I worked for Chipio. It's called Chipio Windshield. You got the job in New Jersey and it took you to Pittsburgh? Yeah. They were expanding. In there. There was a guy out in Norristown in PA that he was a little rough around the edges, kind of like me. So we went out there, things were not set up. Mm-hmm. It was a shit show. I was just hard-headed and I was young and I was like, I'll figure this shit out. Best attitude. Exactly. Was there for about a year. Then they opened up the military base program. So they were in all the military bases across the country, like in Norfolk, probably up here. Mm-hmm. Montgomery, Alabama. Okay. That was my first introduction to the South. Monkeytown, the Gump, apparently. I was there for about another year. I went back home for a couple months just to kind of take a break. And back to New Jersey. How long were you in Pittsburgh for? 2 years, you said? I was there for a year. 1 year in Pittsburgh. The first time. Yeah. 2010, 1 year in Pittsburgh. Yeah. Back home 2011 for a little bit, then back to Pittsburgh? Yeah, I was a very hard-headed individual. A little easily swayed. One of the guys.
Were you moving out there by yourself? Just following the job by yourself? Was anybody coming with you?
No, I was by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any kids or no responsibilities. I had family.
Is your family still in New Jersey?
Most of my family's in New Jersey. They're in the tri-state. So my sisters are out, and one sister has a kid out in Delaware, Wilmington. The other sister, which they're twins, she's out in Philadelphia. My brother, he's in New Jersey. My oldest sister, which has 4 kids, she's out in New Jersey.
All over.
So yeah. I don't even know how this guy convinced me. His name is Nolan.
Because he's working for the sales company. Is that a sell? That's how he convinced you.
I was sitting on my buddy's couch because I was burnt out, and you're just gonna sit on your buddy's couch and not do anything.
This is you getting into windshields.
No, this is the second time I went to Pittsburgh.
This is getting back into windshields to go back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy, I was a crate. I was a bad man back then. I just didn't give a fuck. He literally talked to me on the phone. I'm like, hey, I'm coming to pick you up. We're going back to Pittsburgh. We're going to do this. We're going to, we're going to run this back. My buddy was like, you just got here. I was staying with a buddy and my best friend at the time. I know since I was 10. Mm-hmm. Staying at his house. He's just like, dude, you just got back a week ago. You're really about to go back out there? I'm like, yep. He was just like, I really packed up my stuff the night before and left. And I stayed out there for another year. The second time was one of those things, I shouldn't have went out there the second time. But you're young, dumb, things like that. At that point, I was 21. So I could actually legally drink.
Legally drink. Big difference.
Yeah. At that point, I had a lot of unfortunate things happen to me and my family. So, started
to make a man.
My great-grandmother, which was my grandmother's mother, basically was rolling around with her when I was younger. She ended up passing away St. Patty's Day of my senior year in 2009. Oh. That was the first one. Second one was my grandmother.
Oh.
She raised me. She passed away Mother's Day of 2010. That was my first year in college. That was the second one. About a month after I went out to Pittsburgh, my mother was murdered. Yeah, and that was in 2011. Now, her brother, my uncle, he buried her in November, literally a month later. A month later, on New Year's Eve, literally some shit out of a movie. He was in a barbershop getting his hair cut. Somebody comes in there while he's in the barber chair, shoots him in the leg, and shoots him in the head. That was 4. And then the last one was my father. He died from pancreatic cancer.
Holy shit, dude.
In 2014. So it was a good 3-year gap. And then unfortunately, he drank since he was 12. Now, the grandmother that passed away, she died from pancreatic cancer, but she smoked since she was 14. So I got to see my grandmother and my dad basically decay in the shells of their former selves.
Jesus, dude.
So it was a rough period. Now, I didn't used to drink. My dad was he was an alcoholic. My mother was a drug addict.
Made it look bad.
I should be a statistic, whatever. Little giving us sips of beer, things like that when we were kids. It was just I saw all this growing up, so I was never. My mom died. Have you ever watched the show Vampire Diaries? Okay. They have a thing on there with the vampires, when they go through a whole bunch of pain or they don't want to feel anything, they have a humanity switch. They turn it off. Mm-hmm. It's ultimate indifference.
Okay.
They still feel pain, but it's I don't care. So it's very broody, things like that. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, once they feel their emotions, they turn it back on. It's whatever else. I turned it off for a long time. All of my friends were drinking since they were drinking and smoking since they were 16, 17. I smoked a little drink here and there. Not anything crazy. after my mom died, it came back for the summer. So like, this was 2012. When I met up with my friends, I caught up to them. With drinking. I drank a lot. Where I was I wouldn't say I was a borderline alcoholic. I wasn't an alcoholic. I didn't go like crazy things like that. Like I put on a couple sad songs like Dear Mama by Tupac.
Oh man.
Mama by like Boys to Men, a couple other songs, whatever. Marvin's Room.
I Wish by R. Kelly.
No, not I Wish.
Really?
Not I Wish. But there was a couple songs like literally, and I would drink. Again, nobody really taught me how to drink, and of course my the guy that was under me, he was a little bit older than me. He drank, so he was like, I got you, whatever. This was a time where I couldn't get any alcohol, whatever, when I was 20. So like, Bacardi and Coke was my go-to. Mm-hmm. And I used to make a one-hitter cup. You know what a one-hitter cup is?
I'm gonna guess it's a lot of Bacardi and enough Coke to get it down.
Splash.
Okay.
So you drink one, like 2, 3, and then you just feel that wash, that warmth like envelops you. And then like even after that, like after my dad passed away,
mom was in 2012.
She was in 2011. She was a month after I moved to Pittsburgh.
Holy shit, dude!
Yeah,
that's a terrible little string, man.
That's life. Things happen. You understand, you comprehend, you move it accordingly.
What? I'm always interested when I hear people with like stories like that, which for somebody who's never been through it would just be absolutely reality, spirit, everything crushing.
So
like, what took you? Because you have every excuse from that story. You have every excuse to be a bum and a drunk.
Let me tell you something before you continue. That's not even like top 5 in my life. That was just a string. Like I've had personal things. Not to go too much in detail in my life. Sure. I've been through things that most people don't come out whole as a person. You become broken inside. You die. It is what it is.
What's the force that has turned you into the Aaron Streater who sits in front of me, who has a business, who hustles, who has a podcast, who has social media, who's kicking ass, who's creating an awesome life for themselves? How do you get from maybe for somebody else who's listening, who's going through absolute just garbage hands of being dealt by life right now? Okay. What do you think?
It wasn't easy. I fought for every single thing I've ever had in life. Everything I've ever had worth of anything, I've had to get on my own. Had no choice. Even when my father was alive, me and my older sister, what he didn't like about us, we were very independent to where, again, even my friends to this day, I'm just starting to get around to asking for help. I'd rather bite my own hand off than ask for help. If I had to go and wait a week to get something instead of getting it right now, like there was times where I'm in New Jersey where I think I asked my dad to go and give me a ride to work, and for whatever reason he wouldn't give me a ride to work, so I walked. I think I got out the car one time and just walked like, I don't need you. I asked you for help. You don't want to you don't want to give it to me, that's fine. I'll never ask you again ever in life. And that's the thing that he hates. And I look like it.
How old were you when you first got out of the car and walked to work?
I was like 19. I got my first car under pay for insurance, everything like that. And of course, it's like anything else. People want to have power over you and things like that. I got a lot of $500, $700, $1,000 cars, whatever the case may be. The car out there is like the first one I had, which is quality. Like before that, my youngest car was a 2002 Saturn L300. My 2016 is the youngest car I've ever had in my life. But now the only thing I would say drawback of having the life that I have, people try to position you as the shining light, the hope. I'm like, my friend, for instance, known him since we're 10 for 20 years. It's that if you can do it, anybody can do it. No. I just learned how to channel it. That was hard. Like, even we've had conversations to where he told me I was there, but I wasn't. Like, I've done every job under the sun. I was doing landscaping with him and his other buddy, things like that. And like, I drank a bottle of liquor a night, get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he'd be like, "You're alive, how?" And just go to work because it was mindless. And then do it all over again. And that was something that we had to have. We had a conversation, but it was one of the things where I think I had a bottle like E&J or something. He was like, "Dude, I gotta dump it out."
What's that?
E&J, it's brandy. Very cheap.
This sounds like it.
It's very cheap, yeah. And he poured it out, and I wasn't even mad because I was like, "I don't want you to kill yourself." I was like, "Okay, I understand." If this wasn't but my other buddy, which he's been a damn near borderline alcoholic since he was 16, then they would have been fighting. I was like, "No, I understand why you did it. I'm still gonna miss that brandy, but I understand why you did it." And when you go through a lot of things in life, and you gotta use this example. If I told you the beginning of my story, you'd be shocked. If I told you half of my story, you'd put your hand on my back. If I told you my entire story, you'd cry and you hug me. It's life. Bad thing. People die every day. There's a quote, paid in full. There's a scene where A Boogie, they end up running, robbing him, shooting him up. And Rico's sitting there like, "Hey, niggas die every day, B. You be alright. You tough, nigga. You tough?" It just be like that. And there's a lot of people that, even I've had friends that haven't went through half of the things in my life, and I'm like, "You let this let you crumble." I'm like, you would have unfortunately unalived yourself. You would have, like, I had every reason to, like, be angry. Like, probably, 5 or 6 months after my father passed away, the trial for my mother's boyfriend. So unfortunately, I didn't know
it was her boyfriend.
It was her boyfriend. I didn't know the whole story. So basically, he stabbed her, left her to die alone and afraid on her kitchen floor. So I had to, of course, I was in the courtroom. My brother was there, everything like that.
How old's your brother?
My brother now is 28.
He is 3 years younger than you.
3 years younger than me. So
how old is he? Do you have any other brothers and sisters?
No, I have a brother. I have an older sister, and I have 2 twin sisters. They're twins. None of us are twins, but them. But yeah.
So wait. So your big brother, or the twin sisters are big sisters?
No, so
2 twin sisters.
2 twin sisters.
Are the oldest?
They're younger than me. I'm the oldest of 4, and then the 5th one is older than me. The sister that has 4 kids.
You have one sister who's older than you that has 4 kids.
All the other ones are younger than me. So I'm the
one
second.
Sister that has, how much older is you than she? Are you
like a year?
She's a year older than you.
Yeah, they're 29.
They're
they're 29.
3 years younger than you is your brother.
Yeah.
Then bottom is 2 twin sisters.
No, they're older than him.
2 twin sisters than your brother.
He's the youngest.
Okay.
So unfortunately, when
you're big brother through all this.
Pretty much. So you can't. Of course, he said his sorries and things like that. I don't even like saying this, but when
who said sorry? Your brother or
no,
the boyfriend?
The boyfriend said. Of course, he was going to say what he was going to say.
This is in court.
This is in court. This is like 3 years. This is like 3 years after the fact, and when his mother found out, he jumped out the window of the car and hid in the woods. They found him, of course. But like, I wanted to put him on a kill table and do things to you wouldn't do to an animal. That was
I can't even imagine.
At the end of the day, what's done is done.
Is he doing 25 to life right now?
Yeah. Now, my sisters might not like this, but I'm going to say this out loud. There is going to come a time, it might not be right now, it might not be in 5 years, but if he's still alive, I'm going to have to go to that place and say, I forgive you. Not right now in my life, but that's just, I can't hold that against you forever. Do I want you dead? Of course. You killed my mom. That is what it is. But again, and then of course you can't talk to him directly. You have to look at this. I'm like, you left my mom alone to die on her floor. You deserve to not see the light of day, or you deserve to die. But that's just how I feel. You're a coward.
I think that'll be like an incredibly freeing experience whenever you can get to the point that the fact that you can even set that as like a goal, or like not even a goal, but like something that you need to do, like
but the thing what people don't understand is, because before I even mentioned or talked about any of this, would you have thought that's how my life was?
Heck no. You're just such a like cheery, happy person. That's why I asked the question of how did you go from like what sounds like maybe even just the tip of the iceberg of darkness, that string of 5 years you told me about, without going into the rest of the bottom underneath the ocean. How can you describe that translates into like who you are now?
Well, the reason I didn't is because like that's what they want. That's what people want you to do. Like, I have friends that have never been through any of the things that happened, and I've never like played my life is worse than yours. I'll always win. That's not the point. It's to understand that, like, life is going to happen. People die every day. People get this. We're not promised to live in this world. There's one thing we're promised is death. There's a lot of people that don't want to understand this either. Doesn't matter where you go, even when we're shooting this podcast and we're doing something which is relaxed. Somebody's getting murdered, raped, tortured, every day. It's never going to stop. The only thing you want in a certain area is not for it to go up. But it's going to happen. People are going to get caught slipping. It's just what it is. And a lot of people don't like that. I'm just a realist. Yeah, I mean, I don't really, you have friends that are like, you've been through a lot. And I'm like, you don't really think about it because it's like, I guess. But, yeah, I mean, I don't really think about it, really, a lot of the times. Like, it doesn't keep me up at night or things like that. And again, I've had things personally done to me where, again, like, other than, like, this, that I have every reason to be angry at the world and to basically really, like, do damage. But it's like, why?
What does that help?
Exactly.
How does that I think that's the whole, like, people, one it's not a quote I necessarily like, but I think it's like super accurate, is like, hurt people.
Yeah. Someone said something about why does the devil torture the people that are in hell? Like, shouldn't he solve us? No, because hurt people hurt people. If you know how the story goes, he was jealous of mankind because God let mankind mess up when angels didn't, and he rebelled one time, he lost everything. So it's like, okay, if you're gonna call me an animal and a savage, I'm going to be the worst animal and savage you've ever seen in life.
I guess there's one quote that we kind of, the last bit of like kind of transitioning here is, who said it? I know it's a rapper.
Of course it is.
The worst, the best revenge, and I'm misquoting it because he said it and it rhymed and it sounded really good and cool, but like the best revenge you can get on someone who did you wrong is just living well.
Yeah,
like
that's all you can do.
You know, living your life, doing your thing.
Yeah,
you know.
Okay, but I know we're about to get out of here soon, but you know, I don't like talking about me, to be honest.
I'm sorry, dude. Nah. You got me. That was crazy. I wasn't expecting that. I was waiting for the how you got to Florida story, but damn, bro.
Yeah. It's not something I like to because it doesn't matter. Like this shit happens. Though. I mean, it does to a degree, but it's okay, what is that?
Well, the reason I say it matters is because somebody might be listening to you talk who thinks they're going through some shit right now. I might be going through some shit right now. And for them to know that there's life on the other side of that, to know that you can get through, it is minuscule compared to what you just told me. I hate that I'm even going to say this, but it's just, I've had, dude, it all mean to diminish what you told me. This is just one aspect of how I can relate to it. Recently, my one dog passed away. I had one dog, and it was the first time I really felt loss, so close to me. And I just remember feeling like it was coming and watching him get sick, and I was just so scared and afraid that he was I'm gonna lose him. And then I just didn't see going into it, and out right after he died, I just didn't see a path where I could be okay.
Yeah.
And that time came that I was okay, I'm not, I don't, it's not weighing me down. I can go live my life again and do my thing, and and like I said, I know that's so insignificant compared to losing your parents, but that's what I'm saying is
attachments are everything, whether we want it or not. I have a dog now, not playing. If that dog dies right now, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be something I'm gonna be this I love this dog, and yeah. Not expected, but it was the best decision I ever made. He's a pain in the ass, and he's a terror, but he's mine.
Sounds like he's forcing you to get some exercise too.
That is.
What I guess what I'm saying, and just to wrap up on that topic, is that's you can be that kind of beacon of hope for somebody who's maybe feeling some of the pain that you did, and that's, I think that's a beautiful thing, is that you can maybe help somebody else. I think the point of life, the goal of life, is to eliminate suffering for others that you yourself have felt in the past.
Exactly. I don't want people to feel how I feel. Most people are not going to come out whole as a person after you go through whatever. They can't.
I feel changed just listening to you talk for the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, I hope it's for the better, not the...
No, hey,
it's whole doom and gloom.
No. It's beautiful to me that you just living your life and have gotten past it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I thank you for sharing that with me.
No, thank you. Yeah. No, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, there's just because we're about to get out of here.
And you have a few standard questions for me before we wrap up.
Dude, I'm just gonna ask one.
All right.
Very simple. If you could ask your younger self. If you could tell your younger self one thing that would have caused you less pain and less drama, what would that be?
It gets better.
That it does.
I'll take 1-2 minutes and expand on that, but they, and that was a campaign they did at the time. I remember it was older gay people, recording themselves telling younger gay people that life gets better after school. Yeah. I am not gay.
Yeah.
But that message of life gets better after school. I had just such a rough time, not in the same realm of which you were going through, but I had a very rough time getting through high school and middle school. I just hated school thoroughly the whole time, and like I just wanted to work the whole time. I just wanted to work. I wanted to work. And it seemed like that was just like not the cool thing. That was not the. I always had a hustle. I was always making some money, selling energy drinks, selling packs of gum, fixing cell phones. Like I'd never have, not once in my life, not had my hand, busy, and like it just felt like a loser and lame back then. And just to hear from myself now, not even that far into the future, only 10 years into the future, that like, dude, you get to be whoever you want, you get to grow your hair, you get to listen to whatever music, you get to wear whatever clothes, you get to associate with whoever you want to associate with, and there's not like a panel of people like judging or criticizing you. That would be the thing.
High school or school in general is not the end all be all. If you're just yourself, life will always be easier instead of you trying to pretend to be somebody you're not.
And that's what I would tell my, because I didn't realize that then.
Same here.
We're getting a signal. I think we're out of battery. Thank you so much for having me. I will do this again anytime. I really appreciate it. This was awesome.
Okay. With that being said, guys, we're out of here. Peace.